What's up, guys? It's Meg, and it's that time of the week again where we get to review the latest episode of Fear the Walking Dead. Today we're talking about the season 2 premiere, episode 1, called Monster. I was really excited for Fear the Walking Dead season 2 to come back. I really liked season 1. Yes, it was a little slow. There were a lot of complaints about it from many viewers. It could have probably been better, but I was still very excited for season 2 premiere. And so last night when I started watching it, I was a little bit taken aback at first because all of a sudden, you know, when we left off, Liza was dead. It was daylight out, sort of, and there were no walkers at Strand's big house here that he had, and he told them about Abigail, and that was the plan, and things seemed calm and yet very emotional, obviously, for Travis and for Chris because Liza just died. But all of a sudden we jump back into episode 1 here, and it's nighttime. There are explosions going off. There are walkers everywhere. I'm like freaking everywhere. And I was a little bit taken aback because yes, there was a very slight time jump, like a couple hours, but it threw me off at first because I was focusing more on what is happening here than their actual conversations that they were having. So I missed everything that they were saying in those first few moments, which turned out when I rewatched it to not really be very much that I missed. But I was a little bit taken aback by it. I feel like at the end of season 1, so basically, if you guys don't know, the explosions and everything were the government's containment plan that was spoken about, you know, the Cobalt, Plan Cobalt, Mission Cobalt, that was spoken about in the season finale of season 1. And basically, as our group is heading out of town with Strand to his beach house, you know, on the coast, the countdown was on to Cobalt, and we knew that the end game for Cobalt was containment, meaning, you know, they're essentially blowing the city up to try and contain the disease. They've gotten as many people as they can out of town, which I don't really think they tried to do that very hard, but that was the basics of the plan. And then they let, you know, the bombs drop. And I would have liked to see those explosions happen in the season 1 finale, you know, as they're on the beach hugging, you know, Travis and Madison, as they're on the beach hugging. It would have been really neat to, like, in the background start hearing the bombs going off, see the planes zooming overhead, something like that. But to just jump back in, we don't even see it happen, but it's nighttime. There's mini, like, fires everywhere. I don't know. I just didn't really enjoy it. But I did enjoy them. You know, Nick comes on the boat to get them. They're loading up Abigail. I enjoyed those moments where Chris wouldn't leave his dead mother behind. The moment where Nick chops up the walker using the boat motor. I thought that was great. I love those scenes. I'm really loving Nick's character. And moving forward here, I enjoyed the episode. I wish that it had a little bit more action, a little bit more intense moments, rather than they were on the boat and there's some drama going on, you know, and Chris is sitting with his dead mom and he won't let go. And Alicia's talking on the radio to her newfound friend. And then, like, the very end of the episode, the last 5 minutes was like, whoa, that was really good, you know? These people on the boat that Alicia was talking to are actually probably bad guys, you know? They're pirates. I liked that part a lot. It was just this whole middle section where I didn't hate it, but I was hoping for more from a season premiere, you know? I wanted them to start off with a bang. Like, hey, we're back. Shit's about to go down. You guys know what I mean? Do you feel what I'm saying here? Despite all of that, I did enjoy the episode. I am still very excited to see what the rest of season 2 holds. I very much enjoyed this Alicia talking to the guy on the radio. It kind of brought back a few memories from The Walking Dead, but I enjoyed this because here she is. She's emotional. She's gone through a lot. She lost her boyfriend, and there's this guy on the other end of the radio that is talking to her, and he's nice and he's sweet and he kind of sounds young, and he's talking about how his girlfriend died, and, you know, he's pulling at her heartstrings by, you know, talking about family and talking about how they don't have very much water or food. And he's working her, and he's getting information out of her about their boat and how many people they have and the kind of supplies that they have without her even really realizing it. And I thought that was very clever, and I like that they're throwing it in here because she is she's innocent in this. That's not the right word I'm looking for, but she doesn't know what she's doing. She thinks that she's just having a conversation with this person that is just like her family. You know, everyone is fleeing, and she doesn't realize at this point, she's very naive, that people are going to be the bad guys soon. Like, you're not just running from walkers, from zombies, from these infected people that are coming back to life. That's not your only worry. And our group is very quickly going to find out that people are going to be a very big problem for them moving forward here. And I'm super excited about how the episode ended, because we see this capsized boat, and when Nick was swimming under, you know, inside of it, I was thinking, what are all these holes? I don't understand. And then it made sense at the end that someone you know, shot this boat all up, sunk the boat, killed the people, probably took supplies or something, you know, but basically it's kind of like modern day pirates here. And I like that there's this looming threat heading into episode 2. I have to say, I have never really liked Chris. I didn't really grow fond of Chris at all in season 1. And so starting out in season 2, this first episode, I'm still just over him. I don't really like him. I feel for him, and I understand where he is coming from. He was already angry at his dad when him and his mom got divorced, okay? So he's living with his mom. He didn't want to see his dad in season 1. There was a lot of drama and family issues going on there before his mother even died. And so to have your mother not only get bit and going to be infected, but to be killed by your father, whom you don't even really like right now, you know, is got to be very traumatic for Chris. Now knowing that he's stuck with his father, he didn't get to say goodbye, which he mentions in the episode when he was talking to Daniel, which I really love that conversation. But that was one of the bigger things for him, is he didn't even get to say goodbye. And so we see him throughout the episode. He's mourning his mother. He won't let her body go. And then even at their makeshift funeral, before they put her body in the ocean, Travis is trying to say these really, you know, kind, loving words about his mother. And, you know, Chris just runs up and just chucks her body into the ocean, and he's very angry about all these strangers and watching this, being at this ceremony. And it just really pissed me off, because, you know, Travis was really trying. And then on the other aspect of that, I understand where Chris is coming from, but I just don't really enjoy his character very much. I'm kind of sick of this teenage angst thing he's got going on. So I'm hoping he kind of overcomes that soon. I loved that moment with Daniel when Daniel was fishing. There were 2 conversations there, one with Chris and one with Travis. And when Chris says to him, Daniel starts out and he says, "I'm sorry about your mother," and he says, "I'm sorry about your wife." And you find out that there are these 2 people, and both of them didn't get to say goodbye to their loved one, and they're both dealing with this, you know, this tragic loss. And Daniel says, so Chris says, "Neither of us got to say goodbye," and Daniel says, "Would not have made a difference." And I liked that, because in that moment, I think Chris, more than with anyone else, probably related to Daniel better and had a moment of kind of clarity. Like, would it have mattered? Would it have made it any easier to be able to say goodbye? I mean, the loss would have still been the same. So I liked that conversation. I also liked when because Daniel's really struggling, or not Daniel, excuse me, Travis is really struggling to connect with his son now that, you know, he essentially murdered his mother, even though that's not, you know, that's not really what happened, because Liza wanted him to do it. She knew what was going to happen. She's seen the disease spread before. So she didn't want to become an infected. But at the same time, you know, from a young boy's perspective, you killed my mother. And so obviously, you know, they're butting heads. He punches his dad. Travis is just having a really hard time, you know, connecting with him. So he goes up to Daniel and kind of says, you know, "Did you have a good talk?" And Daniel says, "We didn't talk." But he does tell Travis that one day Chris will understand what you did was an act of mercy. And he also says to Travis, "What I would give to trade your failure for," I'm sorry, wait, trade, I'm not reading this right, okay? He says, what I would give to trade my failure for your mercy. And at that point, and I loved that comment, it was just one of the best moments of conversation in this episode, I think, because Daniel has held a lot of it inside. You know, we did not get to see him very upset over his wife dying, but you realize in that moment that he feels like he failed her. He wasn't able to protect her from these people. He thought he was helping her by letting her go with, you know, this government medical people. And he wasn't able to be with her. He wasn't able to say goodbye. He wasn't able to be with her in her last moments. And basically she was scared and alone, you know, when she died. And he feels like he completely failed her, and he would have done anything to be able to be with her when she died and to trade places with Travis, and just even to have to be the one to kill her, at least to be with her in those final moments. So you really kind of realize those underlying emotions that Daniel's going through that he doesn't show on the outside. And I really love this guy's character a lot. So one of the bigger plot lines in this episode and moving forward into season 2 is whether or not our group can trust Strand. He seems to be this great guy that has taken mercy on these survivors, and he has taken them with and helped them and is providing shelter and food and an escape from the horrible things that are happening in LA. And you think that he's a good guy, but at the same time, there are these little things where you start to wonder, well, why did he take on all of these people when he could have had more supplies to himself if he'd just gone by himself onto Abigail and taken off to try and find a safe place. So our group is kind of left wondering, you know, what are his motives here? We hear Daniel talking, and he says maybe he has motives that he's not sharing with us. And we also hear, so there's this point where Madison is on the boat and she's looking for Strand, okay? And she comes to the room with the steering wheel. What is that called? I cannot think all of a sudden. And he's not there. But she hears a voice, like she hears him talking. And then she goes up top to the top deck, and he's up there, and as she's going up the stairs, she hears him talking. Okay. And then when he realizes she's coming, he's like, that's my name. And he makes a comment about how he's talking to himself and a problem of the gifted or something like that. And she says something like, or of the crazy. But, you know, they kind of brush it off like, oh, he's just talking to himself. I 100% do not believe that he is speaking to himself. I think he has a radio or is communicating with someone on the boat, unbeknownst to the rest of our group. And I think that will come out maybe in the next few episodes here, but I do 100% believe that he was speaking with someone else and our group just doesn't know it. And he was trying to hide it by saying he was talking to himself. So let me know what you guys think about that. What is Strand up to? What are his motives here? I think that I don't know that he's necessarily going to be like a bad guy, but I do agree with Daniel in that he has some sort of motives here, or he has some plan that he is not sharing with the rest of our group. So I'll be interested to kind of see where his character goes from here. He's very interesting. I really like him. I really enjoy him. So wrapping up the episode here towards the very end, we see our group sitting down to this lovely dinner on Abigail, and we have the eel that Daniel caught earlier in the day. And all of a sudden, you know, there's just music. We don't hear their conversations, but there are some smiles, and it sort of seems like it's this happy moment. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're even like, oh, Chris is joining. Maybe Madison got through to him. And I did like what Madison said to Chris here. I love that conversation that they had. I think that it opened Chris's eyes a little bit more to Madison, and it did it. I think it helped him come out of the room. But then he goes and he jumps into the water. Now, in the promos, okay, so in the promos, we saw him kind of just like fall into the water. And so, but in this episode, we didn't see him. We just heard the splash. So I thought that was a little weird that it was in the promo, but not. And he claims that he was just going swimming. So I don't know. Do you guys really think he was just going swimming here? Because I feel like they just edited that portion out where we actually see him kind of just let himself fall into the water. So I'm not quite sure what he was doing here. Nick immediately jumps in. Loved that moment. Shows that Nick does care about Chris. He was willing to go into the water after him, and he's swimming around. Nick comes face to face with a walker, and he's very it was a very weird moment because he's just kind of floating there like, huh, he's very interested in it. Then obviously they find the boat. We already talked about that. But this moment with Alicia where she is upset that she can't, you know, Strand has put his foot down. They're not going to go and save Jack, who is the man on the boat that she's been talking to on the radio. And she goes and she's like, I'm really sorry, you know, we can't come and get you. And he says, it's okay, Alicia, I got you. I'll see you soon. Oh my gosh, I got so much chills when he said that. And she kind of, I feel like she was kind of taken aback, but I don't know if she like fully realized what he meant there. And then all of a sudden, you know, Strand, using the radar, I guess, he realizes that someone is coming in really quickly. And all of our group kind of puts 2 and 2 together like, oh no, somebody bad could be coming, and then it leaves it on a cliffhanger. And I had to laugh because of course it's gonna leave it on a cliffhanger, not even a very big one, but I loved that moment. I love the way it ended. It made me very excited to see episode 2. So I hope that the season, as it progresses, as we get each episode, we keep getting more and more action and things that are exciting, because we had 6 episodes in season 1 to kind of build our characters a little bit. It was a little bit more understandable that it was slower. We would have liked it to be, you know, crazier, more intense, different storylines there. But we got what we got. And so moving into season 2, I would like our survivors to really be tested and to really have to fight to survive. So I hope that we get more action and more of those individual stories rather than just kind of sitting on the boat. So I love the episode though. I'm not going to really complain. I am very excited for the rest of season 2. So that's it for this review. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. I'll be doing a predictions video coming up next, and also a weekly Walker Talk for this Fear season 2 premiere. So that's it. I hope you guys have a great day. Let me know what you think about the episode, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.